Okay, so in one of my older videos, it's the August 2017 solar eclipse video. It's about a 7-minute video. I suggest you go watch it. I'll leave a link in the description below. And if you don't watch it, after the intro, I'll put in a clip just to give a refresher about what this is all going to be about.
That everything really does start in the mind. If you look at everything around you, if you're in your bedroom or in your office, you're looking at your computer or your phone, that was once a thought, an idea in somebody's brain. That they were the only one that saw it. They were the artist. They eventually forged it. Now it's in your hand. Now it's on your desk. It's the house you're living in. Everything is created from the mind. The great thing is that a doctor can cut your head open, and the doctor can cut this in half, and he can look at it. But the thing is that he won't find a single memory, a single thought, a single emotion, a single dream, a single sadness, anything. Now, you can do scans of the brain and tell different things, but everything in your mind, only you know. What other people know is what you let out. I can ask you about a Thanksgiving that you had that was the most memorable whenever you were a kid. And all of a sudden your mind goes back. You imagine the food. You can see it there. You can see your aunt there. You can see your mother there, your father, your grandparents, whoever. Your mind goes right back to it. I can ask you to think about your mother. And inside your head, you can hear her voice. You can see what she looks like. And where does this come from? Well, it also has to do with a little bit of imagination, but nobody can cut your brain in half and see any of this. The brain is so much more than a brain. It really is. And so when you realize that everything comes from the mind, everything was once a thought. The phone you're holding in your hand, the car that you drive was a thought. And it had to be turned into reality. Now, when you have something in your head, an idea, a message to get out, nobody is ever going to know. Like I said, only you know what's in there. It's what you let out that other people see.
Okay, so you might not have understood what I was talking about if you just watched the clip, because the context of that video is completely different from what this video is going to be about. I mentioned that anything that's out there that was once in your mind was out there because you put it out there. We're going to be talking about what's in your head, that includes everything, and what you're putting out of it. And we're also going to add in, as we've also talked about taking action a lot, your actions and what you do. What you do gets put out there. And so let's start from the top about what I wanted to talk about. Let's take drama into account. Now, whatever circle you're in, I know a lot of people have drama. A lot of people are attracted to drama. I mean, this is why reality TV is a thing. Tabloids and all that. But if you're in drama and you're all pissed and stuff, and it's usually because a lot of people are talking about you or this and that, and it's usually about something that you said, something that you put out there, or something that you did. And so the best bet is to just watch yourself. And a lot of people that complain about their drama, they hate to hear it when I tell them it's their fault. Remember to take full responsibility of everything, and I literally mean it. Everything, every thought, every word, every action. Now, a lot of people screw themselves with what they put out there, the things that they do, the things that they say, because what you put out there, people will see. People will generate an internal idea, and that idea in of itself exists on the astral. And so we don't want that sort of thing. If you're wanting to create yourself to the best that you can be, you want to put out there the best that you can. Now, how do we do this? Now, a lot of people don't realize when they're putting out, not so good things. We never really realize it. But this is where regret comes in and how we can use it for ourselves. You look at what you've done wrong, what you can see that you've done wrong, what you're ashamed of, what you feel guilty about, and it's all about changing those. You can see what you've done in the past, you can see your behavior now, and usually people can guess what it's going to be like in the future, unless you change it. And this is all up to you. And there's another part of this video is going to go over silence, and specifically on listening. And so one of the best ways to not have drama or not deal with any of that BS is to just simply be quiet. People might talk to you. All you usually have to do is just hit them back with a question that turns back the conversation onto them and gives them a reason to talk. A lot of people like to talk, so this is going to be actually really easy, but it's actually going to be really hard because a lot of people don't have good listening skills. See, as you're listening to somebody, or as you're listening to me, you're creating a mental idea of what I'm saying. There's the mental picture, but then also you could be pulling things from the past, things that you believe in, things that you've seen, things that you've experienced, and you're calculating it up. And a lot of people, when they are with somebody that they don't agree with or something like that, there's a block, so to speak. And so while listening, you have to get out of that setting. You have to get out of that, thinking about what you're about to say next. That's usually what everybody's thinking about. You can see it. Once you get good listening skills, go and study body language. It's a great thing to study. It's very easy to find a lot of information on it online nowadays. I'll admit I'm not the master of it, but there are very subtle things and very definite signs, and you'll eventually pick up on all of them, especially for people that you know. It's the easiest to pick up on people that you know and see all the time because you can affirm it. You can test it. You can put it in a different situation and they'll react the same way. Trust me, it works. But what you're putting out there, and that comes back on me, I have to constantly think of what I'm putting out there. And I know the past 5 or so videos I've been really ranty. You've gotten to see a little bit of the darker side of Hayden. But I'm back on track here. I do want to be serious about these lessons. I do want you to take them seriously, just as I have, just as I've done. Just as anybody else that has ever done anything seriously will seriously tell you to do it. And so when it comes to these things, you need to shut off what you're putting out there, especially if you're having a lot of negativity come back. Look at your Facebook posts, look at your Instagram posts. If you're those people posting all these sad, sappy things, that's what you're putting out there. Everything exists in the mind. Everything begins in the mind, as we've gone over. And so, a lot of people, they get thoughts. And here's what's going to happen. If you start practicing silence and just not talking only when spoken to and actually listening, you will start to notice the subtle urges within you when somebody says something and you want to go and say something. Now, you could be at work, you could be out in public and just hearing somebody that you don't even know talk, or you're at your family's house somewhere, and nobody's even talking to you, but you'll notice when you have the urge to put an input. And once you put something out there, you can't take it back. I know a lot of people talk about, once you put something on the internet, it's out there forever. That's not just the internet. That's everything. That's everything. Your connections with people, your reactions with them, how you respond to them, how you treat them, the things that you think, the things that you say. A lot of people are smart enough to know that when somebody goes on about a certain thing long enough, you can see kind of who they are. It's like looking at somebody's bedroom. There's a reflection. It's like the 12-year-old girl's bedroom. You can see exactly what's going on in her mind. Come on, the principle of correspondence, as above, so below, as within, so without. And so, while you're cutting off all this expression of yours, focus on silence and listening. Now, there is gold to this exercise. And let me tell you, you will learn a lot. You will learn things from places you'd never expect you'd learn them. You'll have marketing advice told to you by a crackhead, and it'll give you the biggest epiphany that'll change your business forever. Not literally, but I'm telling you that when you start listening more, you do open up more avenues of the mind, and things will happen. Things that you had questions about, you will just hear shouted out in public. You need good listening skills, especially if you want to keep an eye out on synchronicity and you're casting for things and you're also forgetting about them. It makes it easy to pick out things, easy to take upon opportunity, easy to take action when you're listening and you're aware of what's going on around you. Because a lot of people aren't aware. A lot of people are walking around like zombies, driving 90 miles an hour down the interstate, Snapchatting, and it's really disgusting. It's filthy. And so, what's the lesson of this video? For once, shut up. And you might be saying, well, you should take this. And I have taken breaks from the channel. I have shut up. I've had time to think of what I have been putting out, what I'm trying to get to. You have to think. As I've said many times in this channel, this is a channel where you think. A lot of people don't think, or if they do think, they're thinking way off at the end goal about a problem they can't fix. They're not focusing on what they can do now. People aren't thinking correctly, and this is why people aren't experiencing life the way that they want to. See, we're in a place right now, but there's always that place that you want to be, that perfect place. I have that place. That place always moves as you move closer to it somehow. I know. But here's the thing. What the fuck was I saying? Either way, this is getting one of those videos where I haven't planned it out, and so I'm just, branching off and branching off. Either way, let's take it back to the very beginning. I was talking about things starting in the mind and what you put out there. Now, also your ideas and what you're doing. It's best to keep things on the down low while things are starting, especially if you take the theory of the astral light, for example, which you can look that up on Google. I'm not going over that right now. But if what you're thinking about and everything that you're giving weight to in your mind is staining the astral plane, then, you want to cut off other people from messing with that form of yours. You see, you'll talk about it to somebody, but they might, secretly not want you to accomplish it. A lot of people have friends that aren't really friends deep down. And, a lot of the entrepreneur channels will talk about this, about fake friends, about how you'll start moving up and they'll get out of reach with you. They'll feel inferior and they'll become your worst and worst enemy very quickly. And you're going to learn a lot. These are also things you're going to learn when you practice silence and you start listening. You'll start seeing other sides to people, you see. Instead of this back and forth thing that usually goes on, whether it's good or bad, you're cutting off one side of it. And you're going to see some changes. You're going to experience some things. I don't want to give you too much to expect because a lot of people will experience things differently. Everybody experiences it differently. Everybody learns different things. It's why I say in meditation, when you're trying to do meditations and this and that, don't expect to see something. People expect to see the light above their head going through them, and then they get mad because they can't. Visualization, here you go. If you think, you're like, I think I've been doing it wrong. I see people post about this all the time. I want you right now to close your eyes right now as I'm speaking and just visualize a tree. Now, for some reason, it could be on a hill. It could be anywhere. It could just be, the black that you're seeing, but an outline silhouette of a tree. All right, now open your eyes. Bam. You just visualized. It's that easy. You don't want to put too much concentration into it because then you aren't in that trance state. You're starting to use more of the conscious side. That's why I said you have to find a balance. And so don't put too much power into it, but just direct your attention towards that image that you're looking for. If you're wanting to cast for something and you're visualizing the car, don't try to see the car. If you're doing a meditation, you're supposed to visualize different chakras. Don't try to actually see them. Just bring your attention to them. When people expect too much, they don't get anything out of meditation, and that's why a lot of people don't end up meditating. A lot of people, a lot of gurus out there, like, oh, you're going to be enlightened and this and that. No, you have to have no expectation. I'm sorry, it's going to be very boring. It's like in the last video, the most BS candle course, whatever. I talked about meditating on a point for 1 year, 5 minutes a night. You're going to get bored of that within the first week. You're going to get bored of it the first time you do it if you're not used to meditation. And you see, if you actually are those people that will do it for more than 3 months, more than 6 months, you won't believe. No expectation. I'll let you experience it for yourself. A lot of people don't take action. That's why these videos have been on taking action. I've been putting out on that. It's also been what's going into me also. It's what life's lessons are handing me right now. You see, you'll notice what people express is what's going into them at the moment. You know, if things aren't too good at home, you know, they come to work and things aren't going to be too good with them. It's like the kid at school that bullies the other kids because his dad's beating his ass with a wooden spoon with marbles super glued to it. You know, it's exactly what happens, and it's the chain repeating over and over. Everything begins in the mind. You know, and what you experience is what you're putting out. And what you put out is also what you experience. You have to break the loop. Be careful on what you're expressing and putting out there. The way you're dressing, the way you're bringing yourself to people whenever you're introducing yourself. Are you just like, oh, I'm gonna be like, hey, or like, are you interested to meet somebody? Are you like, hey, my name is so-and-so. It's nice to fucking meet you. Don't actually say that when you're meeting new people. It doesn't work out well. But what I'm saying is focus on what you're putting out, where you are, what you're experiencing. As I said, you have to think. And it's the hardest part. People want these easy things. People want to learn to do spells and fix everything. This is how you fix everything. You have to actually work on yourself. That's the best thing you can do for yourself, and it's why I don't really go over much magic here. You know, I taught you how to make a sigil. I have now taught you how to do candle magic, sort of. You know, I've given you enough curiosity to go and at least study yourself. I said, go watch other people, not just me. And so if you do all this, you will learn a lot. You do the exercises in this video, you know, shut up, focus on what you're posting, what you're putting out there, the things you're saying, focus on the things that you're thinking. It will take 3 months to clear this loop. But either way, I didn't want this video to be too long because the past few videos have been very long, and while I was watching my solar eclipse video, it was really nice to listen to a 7-minute video. So I'm going to cut this one off short for you. I'm in my underwear right now. I'm going to bed as soon as I get done with this. If you haven't seen the last video, check it out right here. And if you haven't seen the last video, you can check it out right here. I want you all to go to the Jason Miller giveaway video, check that out. It's ending pretty soon. And then after that, click right here to subscribe. But we'll for you all to prosper and have a great day.